Hello, my name is Taylor Marie Caston, and I'm doing my presentation on the growth of the cellular technology industry. I wasn't able to do this in class, so I figured this might be the best way in order to get my presentation to you. I'll be using this little note card in order to help me, and I also have my PowerPoint slide that's up that kind of goes along with what I'm going to talk about. So, the really cool part about the cellular technology industry is that it is constantly and rapidly growing. A lot of people think that because we've grown up with these cell phones that they've been around all of our lives, and the truth is that they haven't. The cellular technology industry really started back in the 70s, and that is when the very first cell phone is made. A man named Martin Cooper, who worked for Motorola, created the first cell phone, and they called it the Brick. The Brick was called the Brick because of the fact that it was so heavy. This thing was 2 pounds and gave you just 10 hours of charge time and 30 minutes of talk time. So in comparison to what we're used to today, which is phones that are less than a pound and are virtually, weightless, this piece of equipment was like dinosaur stuff. The Brick was the very first of cell phones. It wasn't available on the market until 10 years later in 1983, and the Brick went for about $2,300. So a cell phone at that time, to be able to have one, was extremely expensive. They weren't common, and it wasn't until the 90s that things like pagers, Blackberries, and other types of devices came out that allowed us to communicate in the way that cell phones do now. The cool thing about the cellular industry is also that there are so many different companies that create cell phones and have made different technologies that allow us to communicate. A lot of people think that Apple and Android are the only two platforms that are out, but the truth is there are tons of others. Samsung, Motorola, Nokia, and BlackBerry are some of the biggest ones that dominated the industry in the early days. It wasn't until the last 10 years that Apple really got into the game and basically took over. But the truth is, even back in 2011, Apple and Android were fighting neck and neck, and Android was actually winning. You'll be able to see from one of the charts that I have available that Android held about 39% of the population's cell phone users, and Apple only held 28. The rest of them were using other platforms like Nokia and Motorola and BlackBerry, which were still popular during this time. Nowadays, it's uncanny to see the way that they look and to see like the same data in these charts. Apple's definitely on the top. But it doesn't change the fact that the competition and the fight between Apple and Android users is very real. There's a really cool chart that is also listed on my PowerPoint that you'll be able to see some of the comparisons about the personalities between those who choose Apple or Android, some of their physical traits, their habits, whether they're likely to be male or female. It's really interesting, the data that people have been able to collect between the war on Apple and Android. So as many perks as there are about the cellular technology world, there are also some downfalls. Technology has kind of become addictive. Babies nowadays seem to be born with tablets and iPhones and iPads in their hands, and it's hard to deny the fact that our cell phones are a way of life. They're part of us, and we use and need them for almost everything, it seems like. The issue with all this is that our addictions are hindering us in our way of life, our ability to function and move forward and to function efficiently. Texting and driving over the last 10 years has taken an exponential high. It's gone to a whole new level of dangerous because people don't know how to put down their cell phones. You'll see from an AT&T campaign that I was able to find online that people aren't even just texting anymore. People are now emailing, Facebooking, surfing the web, on Instagram and other applications that are just distracting them while they're driving. And it's really just because we haven't learned to put our cell phones down. Because of this, accidents are becoming more common, and the bad habits are being picked up by younger generations, by teenagers who are just now getting their licenses. And this isn't a good thing. The addiction with cell phone and cellular technology has become so bad that there's actually a term for it now. It's called nomophobia. And nomophobia basically accounts for the fear of being without technology. It's been seen in medical studies, and there are even symptoms of withdrawal in cases of parents who have taken their teenagers away from their cellular phones, or people who have had to go without them for a certain period of time, literally experience withdrawal symptoms as someone who would be going through a clinical depression or a clinical issue. This isn't an uncommon thing. Because so many of us are addicted to our technology, it's kind of true that we all have this little edge of nomophobia that's associated with us. Another study I found gave a few references about how attached people are to their phones. 29% of cell phone owners consider their cell phones to be something that they can't live without. 44% claim to sleep with their cell phones or close to them every night, so that they don't, because they're afraid of missing a message or missing some type of information that's going to come to them. And 67% of owners say that they hear their phones ring or vibrate even when no one sends them a message. That in and of itself is a little bit scary. The fact that our imaginations, our brains are actually like gravitating and connected to our cell phones in such a way. So with all this being said, it's beautiful the way that the technology industry has grown. Cell phones have made life so much easier in so many different ways. We're able to communicate on a whole new level with people from across the globe, and with people right in our own backyards, with our family and friends. Technology has been able to connect us to different situations and keep us updated on things that are going on, to keep us safe, and to even have fun. But the issue is, if we can't control and moderate our use of cellular technology and how often we're using it, it's going to continue to affect our lifestyles in a very dangerous way. So, cellular technology is beautiful, it's amazing, but we also have to be careful of how we're using it and make sure that we don't allow it to harm the way that we live, so that we can keep up a great quality of life as human beings. That is all I have for you. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you enjoyed my presentation.